Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back on their BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by Claudia, the Phoenix Zamora. How you doing, Claudia?
Good, good. And yourself?
I'm okay. I watched that last Dirty Boxing fight. I felt like I said, I want to talk to you about BKFC, but I'm really digging the Dirty Boxing. I like it. I feel like there's a couple things that need to be polished. Like I was so looking forward to your fight, and I feel like you're just a little something. What happened in your last fight?
It was a lot of things. I think I didn't have the appropriate warm up, and honestly, it was all me. It wasn't my coach, it wasn't my boyfriend because both are in my corner, my boyfriend and
Sure.
my coach. And it was just me. I don't know. I felt like I didn't really need such a big warm up, and that was a huge mistake. I feel like that cost me. I felt like I felt more awake and ready towards like the end of the second round and going into the third, and also just a little bit too emotional. The Waynes were a little bit emotional.
Yeah.
I had heard that she had called me out, so I kind of got a little bit ticked off about that. But in all reality, it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But you learn. This is all experience, and I feel like fighting, going into a fight, it's all a balance. You can't go in too passive, you can't go too aggressive, you can't be too emotional because the mind, like I've mentioned before, the mind is it could be your biggest enemy or your biggest ally. And if you get too worked up, it's just, things are not going to come out as flowy as they should. And so I feel like that affected me. I felt like, I told you, I felt like I was awake and better towards the second and into the third. But she, I feel like she definitely beat me. I think she outpointed me again. Sometimes matchmakers make these fights, and then on paper they seem like, oh my god, I can't wait to watch this fight. I've seen that girl and it's gonna be great. And then when the fight comes, it's not really all that. you know
Sure.
Her style is not too aggressive. Her style is more a point fighter. She's more of a smart fighter. So she's gonna play the point game. She did exactly what I knew that she was gonna do, and then I did exactly what she thought I was gonna do, according to her, and she was right. So I just think that the styles didn't it didn't really give for like a great show, because it wasn't, to me, it wasn't a great fight. It wasn't at all. I felt like I didn't do my best. I wasn't able to get my elbows out, which was very frustrating. I kept underhooking her, underhooking her, and then just kind of putting myself in a bad position. So it was really weird. It was really frustrating. But it is what it is.
We had just talked to a BKFC fighter that said the same thing before his fight. He said he was so comfortable that he actually was in such a zen mode that he didn't want to warm up. And then his
Yeah.
fight went to this distance, and it was actually a draw. And he said he didn't start feeling good till round 4 or 5. So why didn't you warm up?
To be honest, I was trying to mimic, um, look at certain fighters.
Oh, there you
An
are.
example. I'm
I don't want to alarm you, but someone picked up your phone. So like right after I'd asked you that question, all I heard was somebody on your phone, and I like I asked you that question, you started talking, and then I missed all of it. So like I would hate to
oh,
like make you do it again, but if you
okay.
want to if you want to tell us again why you chose not to warm up like you usually do
Okay,
for this last film.
for sure. So yeah, I was just trying to mimic kind of like what I do in sparring sometimes, and then just I want to get like a fast start from the beginning, right? So I'll go into that first round, and maybe I didn't do such a deep warm up, and I'll still do good and I'll feel good, just trying to mimic, I guess, the adrenaline rush of the fight. But it's not. You have to warm up. You have to warm up. It has to be a solid warm up, nothing too crazy, but definitely not under warming up. You have to be ready.
Okay, so let's talk again. We'll talk dirty boxing first. What do you
Right.
think? You've fought 2 fights. You've been on both fights. Are you liking the rule set? How do you? You're a woman who's done quite a few different things. How do you remember what rules are allowed? Because we saw like a slam in the last one. How do you fighters
Right.
remember? Okay, the rules are for this one. You can do this.
I think that it's time, right? Like, I feel like, at least for me, I've been just focusing on boxing since last year when that first bare knuckle fight came around. the LA card, the one that got canceled for me. Ever since then, I've just been doing boxing. So for me now, it's not even like a thing. I know that I can just do the boxing, or in this case, we're adding the elbows, but it's not like, oh, I almost need the person, or oh my god, I almost threw a kick. At the beginning, it that was happening. I was like, oh, and you know what? Now going into bare knuckle from Dirty Boxing, like I've been sparring, and there'll be instances where I'll go to like spin, and I'm like, that's right, I can't spin, no spinning, or elbow, but it's more like
Right.
the spinning. I can remember that no elbows, but it's the spinning stuff that's been getting me a little bit. So I'm like, okay, I just think you got to be aware, but it's tough. I think for whoever's just starting out, it's tough to like remember, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that. But for me, like I said, I'm already used to just the boxing, so it's not too different.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So in one company for Dirty Boxing, your boss is Mike Perry and John Jones. Then you go to BKFC and you got Dave Feldman and Conor McGregor. You have some of the biggest name in combat sports, and you get a fight for both. What's that like?
It's amazing. I love it. I feel like we have all the top names, like you said, and both of best of both worlds. Everybody has their own personality, everybody's doing their thing, everybody's an entrepreneur. And I'm blessed and super honored to be able to fight for both companies.
It's crazy to see how many people though are going from MMA to like more of this. Like it's action packed. Dirty boxing is a lot of action. Like bare knuckle is absolute lot of action too. But people want to see more action. I feel like a lot of people are going like MMA is getting a little boring, and I've seen that. Like it's definitely gotten slower. And both these sports are so much more action packed.
They really are. They really, really are. I love the bare knuckle. I feel like the bare knuckle is probably the most gruesome at this moment, which is not a bad thing. It's
Sure.
action packed, tons of blood. I mean, the fans love it, and yeah. I mean, MMA, you know how MMA can be. It could be a little stally, it's longer rounds, you have the wrestling. If you are familiar with wrestling, if you are familiar with jiu-jitsu, you can enjoy those moments. But
Sure.
if you're just kind of like a regular fight fan, most regular fight fans, just want to see striking. They want to see non-stop striking, not just passive striking. And I feel like both these promotions provide that. The 3 minutes, the 2 minutes, the bare knuckles, the elbows. I feel like it just gives more of that. As far as the fighters, um, I don't know. I feel like right now the UFC is really the top. You see all
Sure.
these other promotions coming up here and there, and they're really the ones that are staying afloat. But they're looking for the young guys. To them, if you're past 30, you're already old. It's crazy. But that's how sports are. And I feel like at least for me, I didn't want to hang on too long to MMA, and I didn't want to just be doing MMA just to do it. It was like a goal. Either we're making it to the UFC or we're not. And then so I'm done, you know? And then now we have bare knuckle and we have dirty boxing. And I just feel like it's great to have both those promotions. I feel that they're growing very fast. Look at bare knuckle. It's
Yeah.
achieved so much. It's amazing to see. And now dirty boxing is just starting out and they're doing well. So I'm excited to see where it'll go.
I feel like most hardcore fans know that you were actually supposed to fight Crystal Pittman at Knucklemania 4. I believe it was a medical issue that they withdrew you. How excited are you that you still get to punch Crystal Pittman in the face?
Uh, I'm super excited. I feel like that's what kind of got me back into the game once I had retired from MMA. So I'm like, wow, it took a whole year to get this fight going again, but here we are. I feel like we have a brand new chance to get this going. I feel that Crystal is a tough girl. She's a tough girl. She has her set of skills. So I definitely respect her. I'm going in there ready myself. But it's gonna be great to put the knuckles on her.
This is one of those fights that I actually don't like. I feel like you guys are going to do a great fight, but I really like you, and Crystal Pittman's like one of my better friends. And I hate watching two friends, but the only thing I hope is you guys both go out there, kick ass, and you make money. And that's the most important thing.
No, for sure, without a doubt, without a doubt. I know that she will, and I'll bring my A game for sure. I'm on point.
Now, you, I believe are you from California or like you had
No,
fought
no,
in
I was
California, right? Or no?
born and raised in Miami, Florida.
Okay. For some reason, though, I thought you had already had your medicals in California, and then for some reason they had like pulled something at the last minute. Like I knew there was something to do with California, and it was kind of a shock to everybody that they had pulled your medical.
No, no, I had fought in California in
There we go.
2022, right, for an
Okay,
MMA fight, and so so I was familiar with the
got it.
commission. I was here with all that they required. They're probably one of the most difficult states in that aspect of that they require so many medicals. It's a lot. It's costly. It takes time. It's just a lot of moving parts when it comes to that. I feel like Florida is way easier to deal with, and so that's what it was. Yeah, it was nonsense. It shouldn't have been pulled, but it was what it was.
So Crystal's from kind of that area. How are your fans? Are you guys going to be able to travel? Like, is it basically going to be like a stalemate? Like you have a lot of fans there, she's got a lot of fans there, or do you have that fan that will be coming with you, or are a lot of people going to be watching online more?
There's some people that have told me that they're gonna make the drive, and which I think is great. I think that's awesome to have
Sure.
that support. But she'll probably have the bigger percentage of the fans out there for herself.
BKFC
But
does
I
a lot. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that but I'll know that everybody will be watching for sure.
Absolutely. So BKFC does quite a bit down there in Miami, of course. How many do you try to attend all the events you can, or
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really enjoy the fights at home. I've been to the events, MMA, bare knuckle. I've been to, and I enjoy it so much more at home. I'm comfortable at home. I know it's the whole experience and everything, but I just I like it at home.
yeah, I can't lie. Like, so I was in Dubai and like sitting up in the stands, and I was like, I would rather be sitting on my couch and drinking what I want and getting up to go to the bathroom and not have to wait through the line of people. And
Yeah, it's nice going to the events. You're there. You get to meet a lot of the fighters and take pictures, and that's all part of the experience. But yeah, definitely love it at home.
okay, so for those bare knuckle fighters who love bare knuckle but haven't got to see you fight yet, but have seen you and have seen you. No, I almost said karate combat, not karate combat, dirty boxing. What
Yeah.
can they expect to see? I mean, like I said, we've seen you with the gloves on. What can they expect to see when the gloves come off?
I mean, it's the same mindset or the same strategy, whatever you want to call it. It's gonna be nonstop action. Like that's what I've been training to do. That's what I'm going to bring. Um, that's what you can expect. You're not gonna see a passive Claudia. That's for sure.
Do you feel like you're better suited for the 2 minute rounds? Like, are you more like like that? It's a sprint. You know what I mean? For sprint for 2
Yeah,
minutes. Is that better suited for you?
I think so. Definitely. Like 3 minutes is short as well, but I love the 2 minutes. I like that. I like that even better.
And is 35 going to be your weight class? Is that where you want to stay? Or are you going to go up or down?
No, no, 100%. I will not go heavier than 135, and I will not go lower than 135. Like I know my body pretty well by now, and I feel like definitely I can't go lower. I wouldn't even try. And then heavier is just you're at a disadvantage. Like why? Why would I? You're at a disadvantage. I'll be fighting girls that are maybe going into the fight like at 160 pounds, while I'll probably be at 149, 148 pounds. So just
Sure.
to me, it doesn't make sense. I have nothing to prove in that aspect. My weight class is 135, and I feel like the 135 division needs building. You have the 115 pretty well established, the 125 well established, and then now you got Borga in 145, and who even wants to fight her? To be, you know, let's be honest. I feel like it's gonna be hard for her to get fights because to begin with, not a lot of girls are even wanting to do bare knuckle, right? It's a
Right.
select few, and then to fight her, no. No. No,
I
no,
got a
no.
train with Borga over there in Dubai, and she is just a different animal. She is so nice when you're eating with her and hanging out, and then when you go to the gym, she flips a switch and she is evil, and she's mean, and it's crazy what she's a Jekyll and Hyde person, and she's intense.
She is. She is. I mean, I don't know her personally, but from what I've seen and the interviews, she's laughing all the time. And then, but you see her, whether it's at the weigh-ins, at the press conference, or or before the fight, where you see her like staring down her opponent, and you're like, wow. And sometimes you see fighters do that at press conference, weigh-ins, before the fight starts, and then it doesn't really translate. No, hers is like it really, really translates. Like she is mean all the way through. So it's pretty impressive. I think that she is doing great. She's a monster, and congrats to her.
Like you said, it is seem like the 135 is kind of the weakest division in the women's right now. Like, what do you think would take to make it big? I mean, I would love to see a belt, but I also was told that they need more fighters at the weight class in order to have a belt. So, what do you think it'll take to bring more women into that weight class?
Um,
Is it
I
a
don't know.
money thing? Is it like they don't want to get cut? Like, what do you think it is?
I think that right now is just maybe more of those girls are still doing the MMA. You
Sure.
know, you know, well, let's see. Now maybe we get Holly home. She's a 135er. Maybe she crosses over to bare knuckle. I know GFL got pulled the plug on their first two
Yeah.
events. So you never know. Maybe I know she said mentioned something about boxing, but maybe if the money's right, she'll do the bare knuckle. I think that would be a great amazing name to add to the bare knuckle roster. But I think that's what it is. I think that the girls, women's MMA is still growing. There's way more girls doing MMA now than even 5 or 10 years ago. So I feel like maybe those girls are still doing the MMA, getting done with the MMA, and then maybe they'll make that transition over. I just think that there's a lot more 115ers and a lot more 125ers as fighters, period, for girls.
Sure.
That's what I think those divisions are more common in weight. Even 105. I know bare knuckle doesn't have, I think, the 105, but those are very divisions that are very stacked. Because even 145, there's not a lot of girls. There's
Absolutely.
not 145 and 135. There's not a lot of girls. What happens is you have, for example, what's her name? I know she's fighting in Italy.
The
She's
Russian
Russian.
girl or Nikki? Yeah, yeah, I don't remember Nadia something.
Right. Well, the other girl, the
Nikki Schaefer
right,
or Nadia?
right, correct. Her. She's really a 125er that's
Hmm.
fighting 135 because that's the opportunity that showed up. I know that she's been waiting to fight again on bare knuckle, so I'm sure the opportunity showed up, and she's like, okay, whatever, I'll take it. But that's not really her division. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that just puts things into perspective of there's less girls at that weight class fighting. Period. Um, so yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just not enough girls, but maybe we start getting more. Hopefully.
Like I said, I would love, and like it seems like they've kind of slowed down on the prospect and finding new people, but I would love to see them bring in. To me personally, I feel like they need to showcase. There needs to be a 1 to 2 women fight on every card, no matter what. Because I feel like
Exactly.
there's so many women that want to watch the women fights, and then you go 2 to 3 cards without them. And I feel like
Exactly.
if you don't let the women on the card like that also hinders it.
Exactly. That's the other thing that I've talked about too. That is just one. Here comes a card, and there's only one girl fight. I mean, that's gonna be tough to get the girls going like that. At least two. I think that would be just to get, yeah, like you said, more eyes. I as a woman, when I look at a card, at a fight card at an event, I really dislike when I don't see at least one girl fight. It's like all guys. I'm like, whenever there's like a girl fight, I always, I'm more inclined to watch the show. At least me.
And it's kind of interesting too. Like I've been to 2 cards, and there was a women fight on each, but both the women were like in the dressing room going, "We're bored. We wish we had somebody in here with us. So it'd be great if they could have somebody else." I mean, like Jessica Borga was able to have her teammate, and he came in the locker room. But when I was with Sarah out there in Omaha, she's like, "This is boring. There's no one in here. Like we need to bring somebody in to chat with, or it's
I
boring sitting there waiting for 5 hours for your fight."
Oh my God, yes, it is. It is. And nerve-wracking. Want to get it over with.
Misfit Misfit has flirted with the idea of going up to 35. Do you feel like that's a fight for you or not yet?
I feel like me personally, I would like a little more, just a little more experience. I mean, even against Crystal. Crystal has 6 bare knuckle fights. That's tons of
Absolutely.
experience, more than I have. So, uh but and then you're talking about Misfit, that's another monster. So, I think it would be fair at least for me to get a little, maybe one or two in there, and just to get a little more comfortable within the bare knuckle before I would face her. But I'd be open to it.
What do you like? What do you have planned for this year? You want to try to do as many events as possible? Or are you more interested? I mean, I can't say you're more interested, but I mean, like, are you, the quickest way to a title? So be that Dirty Boxing or BKFC. Like, are you just looking out for what's best for Claudia at the moment?
Okay, so basically, I'm signed to Dirty Boxing. I
Okay,
have 3 fights left with them, right? So
sure.
they they um they let me fight for bare knuckle. Like they gave me permission. Okay, go ahead. You can do the bare knuckle fight. And from my understanding was like, as long as let's say that they have an event coming up, and they might not use me for whatever reason,
Mhm.
I'm free to go ahead and fight for bare knuckle, or whatever it is that wherever I would like to fight, which would be just bare knuckle, because I'm not gonna do MMA. I'm not even interested in any like karate or karate. None of that stuff. It's strictly dirty boxing or bare knuckle. That's all it is for me. But yeah, that's my understanding. Like as long as they're not gonna use me for one of their upcoming cards, I'm free to fight for bare knuckle. So you know, we have to see how often, let's say, bare knuckle would want me to fight too. Because that's, again, we go back to
Sure.
how active are the women. Most of the girls are. I hear them a lot that they're waiting, and like I said, if you only have one girl fight on each card, it's going to be kind of hard to have the girls fighting more often. But I feel like having the dirty boxing maybe is a good thing for those girls in bare knuckle that maybe are just waiting around. Again, I don't know if that would work for both the promotions. I don't know if they would be willing to work together, but I think it's an avenue. Maybe the girls are just sitting around waiting, maybe have them fight on the dirty boxing, and then uh cross promotion type thing.
I
That's an
feel like there's
idea.
always room for crossover, and like you said, that's the one. If I was to talk to a fighter, they would say they don't fight me enough, and not necessarily for Florida fighters. Florida fighters get a fight a lot more, but you talk to all these other
Right.
people from the country, and they go, "My one gripe with BKFC is communication is one, but for two, they don't fight enough." And I feel like you just said, I mean, cross promotion is great, and make a fan on both sides and do some super fights and some fun stuff. I feel like the sky's the limit right now.
Exactly. I feel like they can work together. It's not like a competition. Each promotion has their own thing, and I feel like it'll bring more eyes overall for both promotions. I think it would be a great idea, and yeah, that's the thing. I feel like it goes back to like the fighters that you see fighting often, whether it's women or men in bare knuckle. I feel like are the guys that either have a big personality and or are selling a lot of tickets. So like
Sure,
I saw like maybe there was a year, like I don't know if it was 2024, where there was certain Miami fighters that they fought like 4 times in that year.
absolutely.
So it's
Yep.
like, wow, but if you look at that fighter sells tons of tickets and is a big character, so I'm not surprised. Listen, it's a business, so I completely understand. It's like a whole package. You got to sell tickets, you got to have a personality, and you got to make the fight exciting when you go out there. So it's a whole thing, it's a whole thing.
Okay, so we know Mike likes to give out crypto for big knockouts and stuff. Now that he owns tequila, are you a tequila person? Are you hoping Mike gives out some tequila to the winner?
I'm not a big drinker at
Oh,
all,
okay.
but if he were to give it to me, I'll definitely try. I mean, I'll try it regardless. He doesn't have to give it to me. I'll go ahead and try it just to test out the product and know. But I'm not a drinker, but I'll try it. Yeah.
Okay, and then my last question for you. I don't know if you have any insider knowledge. Do we see Mike Perry fight in dirty boxing first, or do we see him fight in bare knuckle this year? Which one do you, if you were to
Ooh,
make a guess, which one do you think we see him fight in first?
that's a great question. I know that he wants. I know that he wants to fight in bare knuckle for sure. I know that's his first go to, because that's like his area. You know, I feel like he thrives in the with the bare knuckles. And I know that he's trying to get that fight with Robbie Lawler. I don't know if that's gonna come to fruition, but I hope it does. I think that that would be a great fight. I know that for him at this stage of his career and life, he definitely wants the fights to make sense. So that means the numbers have to make sense. The name has to make sense. And you know what? A lot of people like talk a lot of crap about him with the whole Jake Paul thing. And I'm not just saying this because I know Mike or because I fight for his promotion. I'm saying it from a fighter's point of view. The guy took the fight on very short notice. He was well undersized. I feel like he's not really a boxer. Boxing
No.
is different than bare knuckle. It's completely different. So I feel like he did what he could given what he had, you know, time and skill wise. I feel that if he were to fight Jake bare knuckle, I think that he would beat him 100% because it's a completely different ball game. So a lot of fans are kind of flaky like that, you know, especially in MMA. I feel like you lose once and oh, you suck, oh, she's washed or he's washed, and then you win, oh my god, you're the best, and this and that. And so you know they're very flip-floppy, so you can't take the losses to heart and let the wins get to your head. You have to stay very grounded, and you know, but it's like that now. I think, let's see. I think that if he doesn't get his bare knuckle fight this year, he'll definitely fight for dirty boxing. I strongly believe that this year. Yeah.
Okay. It is kind of weird, and I've seen posts before that said like normalize people losing because all this stuff is like, oh, you lost, like you just said, you lost, you suck, you're a bum. I've heard people tell me that Bryce Henry, because he lost in a boxing fight, is washed up and needs to retire. You know, like give up. And I'm like,
Crazy.
yeah, it's insane, and it's mostly people who've never been in a ring before and only
That
sit on a couch, and they have so much to say.
exactly, exactly. That's why I tell you, like, you have to have a strong mind when it comes to being a fighter for like a lot of different things, but especially for that because you really see it and you really see who your people are when you lose. You know, you really see who those people are. You see who the you know who's there when you just win, and yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is.
All right, like I said, I'm dreading this fight, but I'm super excited for you, and I hope you get the win. But like I said, no matter what happens, I love talking to you. You're super nice. You put it out there. You tell it like it is, and I think that's you talk to so many people, and they're yes man or no man in their company, and you tell it like it is, and that's what my favorite thing about you, Claudia.
Oh, thank you so much. You're
All
great. I
right,
love you.
all right. Well, I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks so much for your time, and best of luck in Clearwater.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.